The Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. Thanks for joining us tonight on one of the most anticipated premiere videos right here on the Frank Addington channel, the annual mock draft. This is a time of year where this mock draft video plus our big NFL draft party is a time that really unites a lot of us. I think that's one of the best things about this time of year. Now first, the procedures. I will go through all 32 of the first round picks in the 2026 NFL draft, who I think each team is going to pick. Now there are 4 teams in this draft who do not have first round picks. All 4 of those teams do have their initial pick in the second round. I will also do my prediction on what player those 4 teams will pick and their spot in the second round. So just not to leave anybody out. Also, this will be a stick and pick method. So there's a lot of rumors about trades, and some of them sound very valid and very reasonable, but this will be just sticking with all the picks and not projecting any trades. I think we did that a couple of years ago, but this time, I think last year and this year, just stick with the board and see where it goes and predict who each team will select with their pick in the first round. Number 1 on the board, Mamba Mania, loyal Raider fan. It's finally time. Your team right here has never in the history of the franchise, dating back to 1960, had a first round quarterback be a franchise quarterback. Daryle Lamonica was a 12th round pick. Kenny Stabler, and Lamonica wasn't even picked by the Raiders. Kenny Stabler was a 2nd round pick. Jim Plunkett was number 1 overall, but not by the Raiders. All right, then after that, a lot of journeyman types, a lot of veterans, Jay Schrader, Rich Gannon, you get the picture. The last first round pick that they had at quarterback, 2007, Jamarcus Russell. So this is their time to finally have a very good chance at getting it right. All right. There it is, guys. Clint Kubiak is in the building. Kirk Cousins is in the building. That's going to do wonders for how Fernando Mendoza does in the NFL. This is just set up for them to, it's just kind of a easy pitch to them. They just got to take a nice even swing. If he's a bust, so be it. But this is one they definitely have to pick at number 1. New coach, new place, and then with that high second round pick, I like them to, or I think they should go with offensive line or wide receiver, and then later get some help in the secondary. Get as much help as you can for Mendoza. He's got that offensive mind there. He's got that veteran quarterback there to mentor him. He's got Brock Bowers. He's got Janty in the backfield. Work on that line. Build up that secondary. It's going to be good for the Raiders. All right. Number 2, the New York Jets, DPCX. Mr. Met. Fast, furious Jets. not going to be Mark Sanchez. So this is where it becomes, I see this as just a two-horse race between David Bailey, the edge, and Arvell Reese, the linebacker. A lot of the mocks now are starting to favor David Bailey, the edge, the best edge rusher in this draft. I think they are going to go with the Ohio State linebacker, Arvell Reese. It's very close, but I believe the tiebreaker is Reese can play off the ball and has significant pass rushing abilities, so can do maybe a little bit more, and that's going to be why they make him the number 2 pick in the draft. All right, 3 is the Cardinals. This is the first spot where there's rumors of being a trade. It's all about Dallas. Dallas could, especially if Reese is the pick at 2, could move up, pick David Bailey. It's going to be the Cardinals who are going to take David Bailey, the defensive end out of Texas Tech. Of course, some talk about Love going here, but it's going to be David Bailey. They've also Francis Mawanoa, offensive tackle, would not be a bad choice either. The Cardinals need a right tackle more than they need an edge rusher. However, they could use more edge talent. Bailey is a better prospect than any of the offensive tackles. You have, on the defensive line here, you have Sweat, you have Walter Nolan, you have Darius Robinson. Add him to it, you got an excellent front 4. David Bailey's your pick. All right, 4 is going to be the Titans. Now with Robert Saleh, the new coach there, defensive guy. Sonny Styles, Ohio State. Seems a likely pick because Saleh had Fred Warner in San Francisco. Sonny Styles, a similar player to Fred Warner. He'd love to have a guy like that. I'm going to say they're going with Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame here, and a lot of other people have him at this pick. I struggled making this their pick because of Robert Saleh, the defensive guy. But this pick is going to be a combination of an organizational decision where they are focused on really helping Cam Ward on the offense, and this would certainly do wonders to that, but also Robert Saleh himself giving that vote of confidence to this pick as well, understanding the value of having a dynamic running back like this, having been in San Francisco and having Christian McCaffrey. You also have Brian Dable as the offensive coordinator. Think of what he could do with Ward and Love. Okay, so he's a significant upgrade over Tony Pollard. He's a 3-down back, makes big plays, track speed, maximizes his carries, and then yards after contact. Maximizes his carries, yards after contact. Who does that sound like? Sounds a lot like Christian McCaffrey. Jeremiah Love, good pick for the Titans. All right, Gideon, here we go. It's the Giants' turn. This one, again, more, what could this be kind of thing going on here. You still have the defense on the board. You still have, they can go line, offensive line. I think that they will go with Caleb Downs, the great safety out of Ohio State. Okay, they're going to go with Caleb Downs. Giants are decent already at safety, but Caleb Downs is on a completely different level. You pair him with Javon Holland, and you've got a defense that can create turnovers, and it can shore up the run defense. And what does that do? That closes out games. And what did the Giants fail to do many times last year? Had leads in the fourth quarter, choked big leads, couldn't close. This pick, I think, really helps kind of tighten the gap on some of those games where they were really close. And there's no reason in the world they should have had just a 4-win season. And Downs is going to really help make that win total increase this year. John Harbaugh wants to make a statement and put a stamp on this organization right off the bat, and he does it in spades with perhaps the best player in this year's draft, Caleb Downs. Let's get to the next 5 picks. And who's next? Well. JHL. John, Eli, where the hell have you been? I know you guys want Carnell Tate. This could be Carnell Tate. The Ohio State boy. Very well could be. That's what you want, right? They really need offensive tackle. They're really looking at offensive tackle. And they've looked at Caden Proctor a lot. At 6, I don't know. I don't think they're doing it at 6. If the Cowboys trade up to 6 and the Browns get pick number 12, I think they could go with Caden Proctor there. I think with the number 6 pick, they're going to go with the Georgia tackle. Played for Andy's Bulldogs, one of the top tackles in this draft. Browns are doing their offensive line makeover. They traded for one. They signed 2 free agents. They re-signed one of their own. I don't really like I know Tate's a great weapon. I don't really like this backwards thing of picking running backs and receivers before you have your franchise quarterback in place. But the line, get that left tackle in there, and maybe get a quarterback next year. I think it's probably the right move. I like this pick, Monroe Freeling. He's got the franchise left tackle traits. He's quick, he's alert, great pass coverage. And so I think that's going to be the pick for the Browns. Monroe Freeling, first tackle taken in the draft. Next up is the Commanders, and I could talk about Adam Peters here. If you're not familiar with him, he's the general manager of this team. And boy, this guy's a complete train wreck as far as draft picks. This is his 3rd draft. And I could go back at his picking China Doll over Drake May all the way back in 2024. The 3 second-round picks, he had busts, but I could go on and on. This guy's horrible. But Washington's got a choice here. They could go Reuben Bain. Defense is a big choice here. They could go Tate. I think in this particular scenario of who's been picked before, they're going to go with a playmaker, Sonny Styles. I think that's the pick here. Another Ohio State guy, linebacker. Ohio State. Sonny Styles, that's the guy right there. Bobby Wagner, linebacker for the Commanders, is about 1,000 years old, maybe retiring. You team up Styles with Frankie Louvu and newly signed Leo Chenal from the Chiefs. That's kind of what they need. This defense needs players, and he's definitely one of them. So this would be a really good pick by Washington. Next is the Saints. Okay, so the Saints here, this real popular pick here, mock pick, is to go with Kenyon Sadiq of the tight end. But in this case, I think the Saints definitely need an offensive weapon. Go with Olave. I think this is going to be, sorry about that. This is going to be the Carnell Tate pick, boys. And yes, that's right, another Ohio State player. Okay, so Sadiq would be a really good help to Tyler Shough. But Tate, you look at the Saints offense, their number 2 guy last year had only 25 receptions, not too good. So Olave and Tate would be an excellent pairing. Tate gives you that. I look at him on film and I think of like Steve Smith. It's really tough, like fast, makes a lot of hard catches. Just a lot of burst, great playmaker. And this would be a hell of a pick. The New Orleans Saints is the first wide receiver taken in Peter's mock draft. All right, KC Chiefs, who's it going to be? Who are you guys going to go with? It's not normal to see the Chiefs with a top 10 pick in the draft, let alone 2 first-round picks, but they have 2 this year, and this is one of them, number 9. And I think this one is going to be Francis Moinoa. And so the Miami offensive tackle. This is a good pick for Kansas City Chiefs. They just lost Taylor. Moinoa is strong at the point of attack. He can push around defenders. He can protect the edge. Now this is a possible Ruben Bain spot as well, but I like them going with offensive line help from Mahomes here with the 2nd tackle pick in the draft. All right, next is going to be some offensive line help for the Chiefs at number 9. And then with the 10th pick, the Bengals are going to go, I think we have a little change of plans here, guys. Big Blue and Gideon's team back on the clock after the trade on Saturday. Dexter Lawrence going to Cincinnati. The Giants get Cincinnati's pick, meaning they have 2 top 10 picks in this year's draft. Absolutely incredible. So the Giants going with Caleb Downs with pick number 5. And so this could be an offensive pick. This could be receiver time for them. This is not going to be popular, but I believe this is where the direction the Giants are going to go with the 10th pick in the NFL Draft 2026. Some interior line help as they select Olivavanga Ioane, guard from Penn State University. This is a player, guys, that is a plug and play guard. He's got core power. He's got great body control. He is a fantastic drive blocker, has excellent balance, very good starter for this team within 2 years, I believe. He's that already developed and experienced, and more importantly, this pick addresses a significant need at the guard position for the Giants. He's a high character, high floor prospect. He's got a mean streak in the run game, and he's been described as a Harbaugh type of guy, someone who can bring consistency to the trenches, and that's what he's looking for. And when we look back at this draft, say 5 years from now, people are going to wonder why wasn't Ioane considered one of the best the top interior or the top offensive lineman in the draft. You just wait and see. So that's who the Giants are going to go with here. Bolster that offensive line and also help that secondary. Going to be a team to watch in 2026. All right, let's go to pick 11. Picking number 11. Peter Woods, maybe, defensive tackle. Maybe. I kind of like, for this pick, a hometown guy. Now the Dolphins are going to go with Ruben Bain, the edge rusher out of Miami. Miami does not have a physical power defensive end. They really need one here. There's some concerns about the arm length. There's the accident, the driving accident for a couple years ago. Teams already knew about this, but I think it is going to cause them to drop maybe a little bit in this draft and not too low. And I think he can be a really good player for the Dolphins that already have some pretty good defensive pieces there. If you watch them at Miami, like in that championship game, just continuous motor, and I think they really like that. A lot of teams are looking for that too, and Bain's going to be the pick at 11. All right, free jackballs. Kari Thaggood, you ready? It's time. It's time. It's the Dallas Cowboys here. All right, so we got, if you look at the board of who I just got picked, now Dallas, as I said, could trade up as high as 3, but most likely to 6. That looks very likely. That trade looks, with the Browns, looks great for the Browns, looks great for the Cowboys. If they stick at 12, Jerry Jones gets a gift in this scenario because of the way things shake out. He has one of the top defensive players in the draft and a huge need for them. Fall all the way to 12. Best cornerback in the draft, easily. LSU cornerback, Mansour Delane. Diggs is a cap casualty. There's rumors for trading up for Bailey with like number 3 or 4 pick. Nah, I don't think so. I think it's keep those 2 first-round picks. Stay put, and then they will be rewarded for their patience and get Delane, who's an instinctive defender, quality skill set for the next level in the NFL, and it's going to look really good for them just to wait and then get Mansour Delane. Even if they don't get him, they could get Dylan Tinman at number 12, safety. All right, so let's go to next is going to be my favorite team, the Paper Tigers, fresh off a NFC Championship loss to the Seattle Seahawks. And a lot of people here I've seen a lot of mocks here where teams are picking the Rams to get like Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver, USC, but add a little more finesse to the team. However, I am looking at it like the Rams are an organization that's very adept at developing second round wide receivers. I think they're going to stick with what they know, not go with a receiver here, and then go with maybe a bigger need, and that's going to be an offensive tackle. Spencer Fano out of Utah. All right. So I think this is really good. The Rams are concerned that their line is not a finished product, and Fano is a player that he can play tackle, he can play guard, even a little bit of a center. He flies out of his stance. He stays connected on his blocks, and he's an ideal fit here for the Rams because he's like 3-year experience. He's one of those guys you can put in there now. You don't have to worry too much about developing him on a team that's built and wants to win this year. This is a good pick. Spencer Fano is going to be a hell of a tackle in the NFL. Really good receiver, second. And so it's the Rams going with offensive line, Spencer Fano out of Utah. If the next pick is well, we got some continuity errors here, but we'll go with pick 14, and it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. A lot of people looking for them to maybe get like receiver help here or also offensive line. I'm going to go with defense. And I think they're going to go with Dylan Taineman, the safety for the Ducks. It's going to be a heck of a pick for the Baltimore Ravens. This is a late riser in the secondary, like played great. The combine's getting a lot of attention. Premium level athlete, explosive. He's got an extensive resume as a three-year starter at Oregon. If you look at those years at Oregon, 300 tackles, 8 interceptions. He's 6 feet, great for a safety, 201 pounds. He's got a great 40 and that 41-inch vertical. All those things really caught people's eye at the combine, and I believe it caught the Ravens' eye because despite having Kyle Hamilton and Nate Wiggins, 2 very good players in the secondary, the Baltimore secondary struggled mightily last year, and I could just imagine Kyle Hamilton paired with Dylan Taineman, 2 great safeties for years to come. It's going to be great in that defensive backfield. I like the Ravens taking Taineman. Next up is the Buccaneers, and this could be a place for Sadiq, the tight end. A lot of people have been picking him. I think they're going to get a little help on the defensive side, however, and they're going to go with Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher. From one of the top edge rushers in this class, the Auburn Tigers. So Keldrick Falk here at 15, hard to pass up if you're the Buccaneers and they help with that pass rush. Falk is big, he's physical, athletic, he's polished at stopping the run, so that's another really good attribute of him. Now he does lack like counter moves when his initial rush is stopped, so it's something he's got to work on. Got to kind of tweak that and get better. But Keldrick Falk is going to be a very good edge rusher in the National Football League. All right, let's move on to pick 16. Guess who's on the clock? That's right, Fast Furious, DPCX, Mr. Met, the Jets. Suck. Here we go. All right, this is another team that has the 2 first-round picks that I don't think it'd be a good idea to like trade up and lose one of those picks. I really like the Jets, especially to keep those 2 picks, Cowboys or that other team, and it would be very advantageous for them to keep them both. The Jets, who already got Arvell Reese with the 2nd pick, I think they're going to continue to shore up that secondary, and they're going to go with Jermon McCoy, another cornerback, and this is going to be Tennessee. All right, so Jermon McCoy. There you go, Jets. Elite coverage if he's healthy. So his health has been, a little bit of a concern there. Footwork is just ridiculously good. And this is what Aaron Glenn looks for, a cornerback, being a former defensive back himself. At number 16, Sherman McCoy, excellent upside. Very good gamble for the Jets to go with him. Number 16. All right, 17. What's up, EMG? We got the Lions here. So, Detroit Lions. Not a big surprise what position they're going to go with in the first round. It should be offensive line. Now, could this be Caden Proctor? I think he's a little bit too raw for the Lions to pick. I'll explain. I think they're going to go with Blake Miller, also a tackle. Okay. Out of Clemson. I think that Blake Miller is going to be a heck of a player in the NFL. I really do. It's going to be a good pick for the Lions. They certainly need offensive line help. He's long, he's quick out of his stance. Now, he played 97% of the time at right tackle, but he can shift to left tackle, so he's got some versatility there. He's a plug-and-play type of tackle, right? Like right now, high-level experience, consistent, more of a safe pick than Proctor. That's what they need here. That's what Dan Campbell wants. This is a team similar to the Rams. They're not building for the future like they want to do it. They want a shot this year, and they need a guy who's almost like kind of a veteran type experience level tackle coming in to help out on the line, not someone they develop like Proctor. Blake Miller will be a good pick out of Clemson. All right, let's go with the Vikings. Again, another team, no hidden Nelly. You ready? Another team that this is not a surprise what position. Everybody's got to go in safety, and I agree too. With Dylan Tinneman, I have him going to the Bengals. I think they picked the next best guy, and that is going to be the E-Man. And this guy's a hell of a player as well. Emmanuel McNeil Warren. You've probably heard of him. He's the Toledo guy. Toledo did produce Mitchell, the cornerback for the Eagles, so they have pretty good defensive production coming to the NFL. And so I think this would be a really good pick for the Vikings because he's got great speed and instincts, 10 forced fumbles, 5 interceptions in his 4 years there. Really good experience. I like that a lot. Harrison Smith is 37 now, the safety for the Vikings. He may retire. If he comes back, he could be a good mentor for McNeil Warren. But in a division where you have Caleb Williams, you have Love, you have Goff, safety is a priority for the Vikings. They get a good one in Emmanuel McNeil Warren. All right, the Panthers. Here come the Panthers, number 19. Kind of a weird pick here. A weird spot in the first round. All right, so this one is going to be the second wide receiver picked. In this year's draft. There's an A&M guy. Casey Concepcion. Okay, so he's a lot of buzz over Casey Concepcion, big time playmaker. No matter if he's inside or out or lined up outside, he's kind of built more for the slot, but I kind of like him more as an outside. Put him more on the exterior. I think he'd be a little more effective there. Maybe bulk up a little bit. And this guy's going to be a really good player. Great combine. Like I said, just really rising as far as interest. Be a good player for the Panthers. Help out Bryce Young as well. Cowboys, once again, at number 20. Sticking with number 20, and sticking with defense. A guy that they have liked for a while now. That's R. Mason Thomas. Interior line. They certainly could go defensive end here. I think they're going to go with, edge rusher. So, edge rusher out of Oklahoma. This is a guy that they're just enamored with. He's one of the best finishers among defensive ends in this year's draft. He produces late in games, and what does that mean? It means he's got a high motor. Okay, so he's got great hand strength. He needs to work a little bit with the versus the run, but after the Cowboys 2025 defensive struggles, Delane, cornerback at number 12, and then Thomas at number 20 for that defense. Hell of a night one for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. I like these two picks for the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think, Free Jack? And I can see it. I can already hear it now. After this video ends, Free Jack. Oh, so who'd you have the Cowboys picking? All right, let's go to the next. Let's go to the next picks. All right. Repeat after me. How do you find out who your team picked, who Peters thinks your team's going to pick, 2026 NFL Draft? Repeat after me. That's right. Yes, you watch, you subscribe to the Frank Addington channel. All right. So number 21 is the Steelers. All right, everybody, let's post a frog emoji in the room. Here we go. It's Steele's pick. Who's Steele going to go with? This is it, guys. The Alabama tackle, Caden Proctor. This is a team that just feels like they're like stuck in like a time loop. You just can't. It's just kind of the same thing every year, and it's like 9-7, and just not really much going on. They can't get the QB, and I've seen a lot of Ty Simpson projections here. Maybe. Okay, wouldn't be a surprise at all. But they're going to go with the tackle, 6'7" tackle, Caden Proctor. He's got the potential to be a franchise type of guy. He's got he is quick. He's alert. Pretty good in pass coverage. He is a people mover type of power. But he's just inconsistent with his technique. He's got his balance isn't great, and the weight. He's like 350, so it kind of causes fatigue issues. Or there's concern about possible fatigue issues, but there's just no lineman in the world, no person in the world who looks like Caden Proctor. So he's just one of those got to be a first round talent, but he's really just got to be worked with a lot. So a lot of real raw, but the Steelers are kind of a rebuilding type of team, so I think they're going to take a chance here and go with Proctor. All right, Bolts' Chargers. Who are they going to go with? This could be this is up in the air here, so this could be interior line. This could be guard. This could be Chase Basanti is an excellent guard pick here. Maybe Peter Woods. I mentioned him earlier, defensive tackle. Possibly. Lee Hunter, defensive tackle. Okay, so they have some choices here. I'm going to go a little bit off the grid with their pick and go with Makai Lemon, USC guy, third wide receiver taken in this draft. Okay. I think they are very open to going wide receiver. And I think the way this board breaks down, I think they're going to go for it. Glue hands. He's a great separator with great technical skills. He's kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown type of player. And you give Herbert a difference maker like that. He has not had one like that in his 7 years with the Chargers. This would be a really good pick. If Lemon is there, I think they're going to go with it and pick him there at number 22. Then we got Eagles 23. It could be a lot of different players, but I think this one's going to be another edge rusher. This is the guy who's been projected anywhere from like here to like early second round. Out of Clemson. Not a big, wouldn't be like a big surprise pick, but it'd be a really good pick for them. Kind of, he can play up, he can play down, he rushes the passer really well. He replaces Jalen Phillips on the edge. Needs more moves beyond the just raw power. And if Parker is not here at 23, or if they don't pick T.J. Parker, I think Bears take T.J. Parker. All right, so let's go to the Browns once again. See, one reason I love this Browns Cowboys pick for the Browns, that trade, if the Browns and Cowboys trade, is the Browns would have 3 first-round picks. But stake and pick. Okay, so this could be Kalen Rutledge, guard, Georgia Tech. A lot of buzz around him. They like Kalen Rutledge, but I feel like they already got the tackle in earlier at number 6, and so I think they're gonna stick with the offense, but not offensive line. They're gonna go with the best weapon available, and that is Jordan Tyson, the Arizona State wide receiver. So big time pick, massive speed, range is anywhere from like number 8 in the draft to like early second. He's kind of all over the place because of some injuries, but Browns are going to go for it. They're going to pick Jordan Tyson, one of the premier wide receiver prospects in this draft. Bears got UConn. You guys ready for another year of exciting cardiac Bears? All right, maybe it'll be a good year. Could this be Zion Young, defensive end, Missouri? That would be an excellent pick. I think they really do want to go edge here. Number 25, still some good edge players left on the board here in the first round. And I think they do go for one, but it's not going to be Zion Young. It's going to be Malachi Lawrence. Edge rusher. So I think it's going to be a good pick for them. He's out of Central Florida. Since the combine, he's really got a lot of interest, a lot of noise around him. Great length, great size, great athlete. Bears definitely need an upgraded defensive end, but at 25, there's no way that Keldrick Falk will be there. It's possible T.J. Parker will be there, like I said, but if he's not, I think it's going to be Malachi. I think the Eagles are going to pick Parker. Bears are going to pick Lawrence instead. It's going to be a great pick for the Chicago Bears. Bear Scott's going to be really happy, jumping up and down, and maybe smacking FJ on his backside in celebration, because we get wild during the NFL draft party on Wire Club. All right, guys, let's go to the 26th pick. All right. It's the Cobras team. How are the Bills going to gag this year? We know they're going to choke in January, but who are they going to pick Thursday night in the National Football League draft? Well, I really like them to kind of do what the Lions did, shore up that offensive line, and as the guy I referenced earlier when I was talking about the Chargers, possibility, Chase Basanti is going to be the pick for the Bills. I also kind of like how he's got Basantis. I like how he's got the word bison in his name. Kind of fits with the Bills, right? Be a great. That's why it's a great fit there. And he's A&M Aggie, second Aggie off the board. Chase Bisontes, give Josh Allen a little bit more help there on the interior, maybe help the running game a little bit. Explosive guard. Seriously, he's a really good player, powerful zone blocker. Has really helped that running game. He's also got some versatility. He's played tackle and guard, so he can play tackle. If needed, like if there's an injury or something, maybe put him at right tackle, but best at guard. Chase Bisontes is the pick for the Buffalo Bills, guys. Then we got, all right, let's all post the Jackass J emoji. It's Mr. Jackass's team. Here we go, guys. What player will Peter Puffer predict that the 49ers will pick here at number 27? Now, Free Jack Balls has talked about his desire to want to see the Raiders have Mendoza, number 1 overall, and then pick Omar Cooper early in the second round, both out of Indiana, and have them reunite as teammates. It could happen. It's not going to happen because it's going to be the 49ers taking Omar Cooper with the 27th pick overall out of Indiana. All right. So this guy is explosive. He's very tough. He's sure-handed. He's really good after the catch, and that is a typical Shanahan type of receiver. That's why I like him to be picked by the 49ers if he's there. They got Mike Evans there, but you know, the cagey veteran, but you bring in Omar Cooper with him, the young guy. You have a nice little pair there as your number 1 and 2, both kind of Shanahan type of guys. I like Omar Cooper to be a really good player in the National Football League. Texans are going to be next, and this is a guy that's been I've referenced a few times during this video. And he finally goes to Houston and joins that defensive front. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Texas. This guy's a really good player. Did I say Texas? Oh my God. Clemson. Tiger, not Longhorn. Peter Woods can add a lot of punch to that Texans defensive line. Havoc wrecker. It does have bust potential, so you got to kind of worry a little bit about that. He hasn't really had any true dominant performances. He fell off a little bit last year, but a lot of upside there. I think Texans, if you put him with those other very good players, that defensive line, they just signed Anderson to the highest contract, non-quarterback contract in the history of the NFL. And so you have him, you have some others in there. Peter Woods, I think it's a good pick at low here in the draft, number 28. KC, your team is back on the clock. All right, I already had him pick a tackle in the first round, okay, to help with the pass protection. And a lot of people feel like the Chiefs cannot leave round 1. They cannot afford to leave round 1 without taking a cornerback. You have Brandon Sissy here out of South Carolina would be a good pick. And I think they're going to maybe wait. Sissy could drop to into the second round. I think they're going to wait on that, hold off, and they're going to go with more help for the offense. Because the offense doesn't have enough juice, enough punch, and they're going to get it with Kenyon Sadiq, the first tight end to go, definitely going to be the first tight end to go in this draft. He wasn't a duck. It's going to be a good pick for the Chiefs because he's just way too talented to pass up here at number 29, big time playmaker. He can even line up a little bit on the outside, like as a receiver. And I just feel like picking that left tackle with the number 9 pick, and then picking Sadiq here at tight end. You got Kelsey about to move out into retirement. Those 2 picks would solidify getting that left tackle and tight end, solidify the second act of Patrick Mahomes' Hall of Fame career. All right, let's go to number 30. This is the Miami Dolphins. What the hell are the Miami Dolphins going to do here? Well, I believe they are going to go with. They already got Bain, so they got Reuben Bain, defensive end. And we'll see. This is where you're going to start to see some of these like other receivers going off the board. Here's another one. Denzel Boston is going to go to Miami, right? Out of Washington. This is a 6'4" player. This is going to be a new look offense in Miami with Malik Willis, and then you just have him as an outside receiver. They desperately need a wide receiver. He's got Boston he's been described as a giant vacuum. He runs good routes. He's not the fastest receiver in this draft. Lacks a little bit of like a wiggle to get those like yards after catch, but he's going to be a good pick here at number 30. Let's finish up the first round of the draft. All right. All right. So Swift's New England Patriots are on the clock, and you saw what happened to Drake May last year. He got knocked around a lot in his second year in the league. And so I think they're going to go here with offensive line. And it's going to be a tackle, yeah. Maxi Heinachor, second Arizona State player taken in the draft. Good lineman. A good offensive tackle, probably the best one left in this mock draft. A little bit raw, but he can get going earlier. I think he can get going earlier in his career than expected, as being an effective like starter and huge upside. 6'6", 320, moves really well for that size. 2-year starter, and he's what they call a road grader, and he would be a very good pick for the Patriots. And then finally, with the last pick of Thursday evening, your Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks are going to go with another cornerback, and it's going to be Colton Hood out of Colton Hood. Where is he from? I don't even know where he's from. So they finally, they really do need another cornerback. He's a press corner guy, downhill type of guy, good tackler. He's got good ball skills. Perfect for Mike McDonald. He's a little bit inconsistent as far as like his tackling technique, and he can be a little bit grabby, which of course results in penalties. I think Colton Hood be a good pick here for the Seahawks to close out round 1 of the NFL draft. And I think a lot of people do have him going cornerback here. So Tennessee. So volunteer. I have Tennessee players in this first round, don't we, guys? All right. So that's your first round. And next, we're going to do the 4 teams that were not listed, do not have a first round pick in this draft. Talk about who I think they're going to pick in the second round. So again, these are all teams that did not have a first round pick. but they are all picking in the second round. And the first one is Andy's Atlanta Falcons picking in the 48th overall in the second round, and they're going to go with Caleb Banks. Defensive tackle out of Florida. Caleb Banks. So, maybe the most upside of any defensive tackle in this draft. He's got some durability concerns, but it's just like a foot thing that happened at the combine, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. 6'6", 327, huge guy, great arms, great pass rusher, and so I think this is a good pick for the Atlanta Falcons here at number 48 with their first pick in the draft. If he doesn't go to the Patriots with their first pick in the second round, which is 41, that could possibly happen. But I see him dropping and going to, because that foot thing, a little bit further, and Atlanta taking a shot at him here. Next we have Seatown's Packers. Seatown, this would be a good night to come back for the NFL draft party, hang out with us, and this is what I think your team's going to pick here with their first pick of the 2026 NFL draft, and big surprise as far as the position. Maybe a guy you've heard of, Chris Brazzell, wide receiver. Another Tennessee guy, boys. Another volunteer, Chris Brazzell, outside guy. Packers, of course, lost Dobbs, top 10. This guy's a top 10 wide receiver in the class. He's maybe even like a top 5 at the very best. Could even be a surprise late first round pick. I did have the Niners going with Cooper. I don't know, who knows? Maybe they go with Brazzell, but he is definitely at least a top 10 receiver in this draft. 6'5", hell of a lot of height for a receiver. 200 pounds. He's kind of Plaxico Burress-like at best. That's like his ceiling. Similar build there. Kind of a deep threat. Kind of a good boundary vertical receiver. He's kind of boom or bust, and it's just a question of development. But Matt LaFleur, I think they can, wide receivers coaches there, they could do it there with Chris Brazzell, bringing him in. And then the Jaguars get their first pick in this draft at number 56 overall, and I like them going with defense. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, another A&M guy. A good D this year, guys. That's A&M. All right. Jacob Rodriguez, he has been linked to the Cowboys, has been linked to the Bengals. I think he's going to be a heck of a linebacker in the National Football League. Great instincts, high-end coverage abilities. He does that peanut punch, creates turnovers, 63 solo tackles, 7 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, all of that coming just last year, 1 year, in 2025. I think he's just an ideal fit as well for the Jacksonville defensive scheme. So that's who they're going to go with here at number 56 overall. And then the Broncos are the last team to get their first pick in. They're at number 62. And I'm going to say this is the guy who could definitely go up higher. This is a name you've probably heard, Mike Washington. Out of Arkansas, running back. And I like him to the Broncos because he's got like high upside. He's a power back to complement the Denver's backfield with Dobbins and Harvey are kind of smaller backs. And then you have Washington who has that power. But he's also got really good vision. He's got good speed. He's good at like breaking some weak tackling attempts. And there's a lot of weak tackling attempts in the National Football League. And so if he's there at number 62, he's a perfect fit for Sean Payton's offense in Denver. All right. Now, at this point, we are at the end, the last the last team to have their first pick. Now, in years past, we had done, last year, I gave you a little bonus thing with, let me think here, 2 years ago, I gave you a bonus thing with some of the best players I like in the second round, I think, and then last year was the one where I gave you my sleeper picks, or like sleeper draft. I gave you like 8 picks. I'm not gonna do that this year. I'm gonna give you just a couple more picks. All right, one more. So this is the first time we've talked about the Bengals since back at pick 10. That's what they originally had in this draft in the first round, but they traded that pick to the Giants to get Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle. And so their first pick in the 2026 NFL draft is at number 41 in round 2. And so the Bengals, with this pick, got to make it a good one. And they're going to go with Gabe Jackass J. I guess so. Gabe Jackass, the edge out of Illinois. That will be their first pick in the draft. He has been rated as a late first rounder. He's a high volume rotational edge defender who can, I believe, work his way from being that role to being a starter for the Cincinnati Bengals. And with the Trey Hendrickson loss in the offseason to the Ravens, this pick here, their first pick, the Bengals really got to hit this one well to get a replacement for Hendrickson. I truly believe they're going to go with an edge with this position. And then Jackass has a strong 260-pound frame. He's got he's got some violent play sometimes, which is really good. Good technique. He's got a good bull rush. 13 and a half tackles for loss in 2025 is a really good sign. He gets in the backfield a lot. And last but not least, you having Dexter Lawrence in there eating up double teams is going to do a lot for Gabe Jackass's development. Could make that Bengals defensive line all of a sudden a force in the AFC North. That's the pick for the Bengals to start off. And then we got one more little thing for you. All right, coming up. To give you my prediction on who's going to be the Tom Brady pick at number 199 in the 6th round. This year it goes to Cincinnati. And I think this year, for that pick, I mean, it's the Tom Brady pick. You got to go with a quarterback, right? And I've only projected one quarterback to be picked out of all my picks, right? Just the first pick. This is the first one since Fernando Mendoza that I've talked about. And this is going to be Sawyer Robertson. And he is out of Baylor. Played the last couple of years with the Bears. Played before that with Ducks, Mississippi State Bulldogs. So a little experience down there in Duckland. Sawyer Robertson, strong arm. He's got a good deep ball. He's competitive, tough. He's 6'4", 225. High. He's a little bit inconsistent. His turnovers. He's got some turnovers, kind of a gunslinger type. But he's got high volume passing experience. Just last year, almost 3,600 yards passing, 31 touchdown passes. So accuracy is a little bit of an issue, and kind of turns the ball over some. Tries to force into coverage as well. But I feel like you look at the Bengals the quarterbacks that they have there. They just signed Joe Flacco to be their primary backup quarterback, That tells you they don't like him. They don't like Jake Browning very much anymore. He's kind of on the like the inactive list now. So I think they're interested in bringing in a quarterback with some experience already, to kind of a developmental guy to replace Browning with on that inactive list, and give him kind of a perfect guy to like red shirt to replace Flacco with next year. He's got some real backup potential here, potential to be a solid backup quarterback. He's been compared to like Davis Mills. So that's going to be the Tom Brady pick, maybe the next Tom Brady of 2026, Sawyer Robinson. And finally, we have Mr. Irrelevant, round 7, pick number 257 this year, and this time he goes to the Denver Broncos. And I'm going to go with, this could be pretty much anybody. Sometimes they kind of like to go with like a cornerback, maybe like a interior lineman to stick on the practice squad. I like this guy here. Keyshawn James Newby out of New Mexico. He's an edge. Rusher, and I really like his story. I mean, he's had a few stops, like he was at Montana Tech. Has anyone heard of that? The Ore Diggers, I might ask that in trivia sometime. Idaho, played with Idaho Vandals, and then with last year with New Mexico. So he's at each stop he stayed hungry, he stayed productive at all 3 colleges. He has really good takeoff. He's got good angles. He's kind of tight to the pocket on his pass rush. High motor. He does lack size. He's kind of small. Doesn't have a lot of diversity, and when he gets in battles with a tight end, it could be a struggle for him in the NFL. But he's got a good stab move that could be unlocked, can make him kind of a sub-package edge rusher. I really like Keyshawn James Newby as being the Mr. Irrelevant pick, and the final pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. That is the Peter's projections for the 2026 NFL Draft. I want to thank everybody for staying and watching at least some of this, but any of those of you who stay for the duration, it's a lot of fun to study up on these players who could be the next greats in the NFL, Pro Bowl players, maybe Hall of Famers. So we'll be partying hard on Thursday night. I hope everybody comes in, maybe some new faces, maybe some old faces. It's going to be a heck of a party on Thursday night. I cannot wait. I know you guys are ready. There's something to give you a little juice to kind of get ready for it. And let me know what you think about the picks. If you think some of them are wrong, if you like the Dallas and Browns trade to happen. I think it could really happen. I'm really rooting for trades in that first round. I think we could have a lot of excitement on Thursday night. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the party. And all hail Mel Kiper, the God. All right, guys. Take care. See ya.